Welcome to the Transform Your Wealth and Health podcast, where experts in wealth, health, and fitness help transform your life. Here's your host, Andy Arter.
Hello and welcome back to the podcast. This podcast is about the 3 things I learned from interviewing the disruptive entrepreneur himself, Rob Moore. But firstly, let me thank the small business owners and entrepreneurs that attended our SAMS Day, the Sales and Marketing Success Day workshop. Thanks very much for everybody. Fantastic contribution. The interview that we did was with Rob Moore, the disruptive entrepreneur himself. With 3 world records, 5 best-selling books, multiple successful businesses, plus he also owns and manages 850 houses with the help of his 80 staff. Wow. Where does he find all the time? Which incidentally was one of the questions you're not too surprised to hear that I asked him. So I was invited to Peterborough after responding to a generous offer online to purchase any 5 of Rob's books to be able to appear on the Disruptive Entrepreneur, one of the biggest podcasts in the country, as a guest, asking Rob questions to gain knowledge for myself. Well, I considered this to be a great offer, wouldn't you? I mean, to get to meet and greet Mr. Moore in his own environment, something he could potentially charge thousands for, and to pick his brains on all things entrepreneurial, I thought it was a great offer. So we made the trip up from North London. I thought it was a bargain investment and everything went well. We got up there and wasn't too far long before Rob turned up. Rob also very kindly signed the books which I had previously purchased and subsequently distributed out to guests at the Croydon Property Meet and my own SAM Sales and Marketing Success Day workshop, where I was keynote speaker at both. And I kept one back for the next one in March too. So as it transpires, I was asked if I could accommodate Rob as a guest on my show. Gulp. So hashtag put on the spot while we're at it. So this is where learning really started. So here's a couple of points that I wanted to make, 3 points in fact, that I wanted to make that we picked up on the day from watching the Disruptive Entrepreneur at work. So number 1 was be prepared. So things changed pretty quickly as I was asked to be the presenter and asked Rob questions on my show. So different topics, different questions, different vibe. Well, what do you say? No thanks, I'm not ready, or yes, of course. Well, you know what I said anyway. Of course I said yes. So it'd be a pleasure, I said it, and we cracked on with it pretty quickly with Rob recording it on his camera, and it went out as a live feed podcast and recording onto Rob's websites, YouTube, etc. So not knowing the exact format previously, I put some effort in and anticipated that something similar like this could happen. So great guest, great offer to host the show, great opportunity all round. It would be a complete shame if I wasn't at least half ready, so I prepared some questions that suited my show. Now, Rob's a world record speaker and an all-round pro when it comes to this kind of stuff, so you'll not be surprised to hear that he was on the ball. And when I asked him if he needed to see the questions in advance, he said no. Trust me, most people would, because they want to be pre-warned that there's not going to be anything too stressful for them. I'm guessing he preferred the spontaneity of not knowing. I assured him this was not going to be a Jeremy Paxman style interview, however, although there was one curveball question that was set to make him think. And we'll come to that one a bit later. Number 2 thing that I picked up was work to your own agenda. Rob comes into the room and asks for a little time to finish off some things whilst we were setting up. No problem, didn't have a problem with that. It worked for me. He cleared his unfinished items on his laptop. He was looking a bit pensive and, getting on with some stuff while he was in deep thought. And then after 10 minutes, we spoke about the interview timescales. He said, I'll make sure we have all the time we need, which was nice of him and reassuring. So Rob went from very busy and being very focused to the interview, where he changed his persona and he was very present within the room, just within a few seconds. So I picked up on that. It was like he said, showtime! And he just got on with it. His personality went, well, we're going to be performing for the crowd now. Let's go and get on with it. So that was really good. Picked up on that bit. So he set his camera up, introduced me to the audience, and it went out live. It was watched by 1,800 people overnight, so quite a large audience for the kind of stuff I normally do, at least. What I'd seen confirmed to me that he had an agenda that day, which included a podcast interview, but it was not exclusively about the podcast interview. He had tons of other things to do. So there was a lot of other important things to do. He needed to kill some of them off. We had time to wait, and as far as I know, all of his pressing items got done, including going off to the gym afterwards, because he's on a fitness regime too. So other people's agendas are exactly that. They're other people's agendas. Sort your own thing out first. That's one thing I noted. He sorted his own stuff out first. Hi, it's Andy Arter. Just interrupting the podcast briefly to let you know, if you fancy starting your own podcast, there's a great opportunity for you. Saturday the 20th of July, I'm hosting the one-day podcast creation workshop in London with pro podcaster, marketer and best-selling author Chris Huskins. We'll get your podcast started on the day with training on all aspects of podcasting from start to finish. The venue is fantastic and incredibly accessible, plus a chance to win a portable podcast recorder worth £200. There's valuable resources provided to start your podcast, and Chris will be signing free copies of his book, The Most Comprehensive Guide to Podcasting Ever. Click on the link in the show notes for more information. Now back to the podcast. So number 3, keep moving forward. The area that we was asked to record the podcast interview in the new studio room at Progressive HQ in Peterborough, it's not finished. There was debris and mess about. They were still finishing up, but turn the camera around and you'll have no idea what's behind you. The new 5-bank professional TV screens look great as a backdrop and help them present nicely in the future. You can't make an omelette without cracking an egg. Sometimes you've got to get down and dirty to move on. Show recorded, Rob was great, I was well pleased. Nobody is any of the wiser, except you know now that if the camera was turned round, it was a little bit dirty and dusty in the background. So you can't let things like that stop you. It's easy to say, I can't do this, and wait for things to be perfect conditions. There wasn't perfect conditions, even for the disruptive entrepreneur. But life's not like that. Life's not perfect. Do your best and make the most out of what you've got. Oh, and I hadn't forgotten, by the way, the curveball question. So the curveball question I asked Rob, if Richard Branson called up and made you and Mark a crazily good offer, would you accept? I hope this podcast gives you inspiration, and if you want to contact me, I'm Andy Arter, and it's transformyourwealthandhealth@gmail.com.